Hello, Americans. Judge Napolitano and McGovern. You guys have sources, including the branches of government, including since I was a kid, people associated with the Weathersfield judicial branch offices and the corrections offices and their educators have been putting fake things in databases, including with Weathersfield Police and with the same houses with other departments, like one's named Kerr, Tomorrow, and Kalala, who have their educators and kids from my grammar school class and adults recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed they've been putting fake things in each of the campuses I went to. Collusion/S, even with campuses they didn't go to. People who went to my grammar school. Increasingly, they have a Leahy family that attached me to fake conversations with them as doctors. I can't get anyone on paper. That's against the law for doctors to refuse to communicate with people. And then and then when I had barely communications at all with people, they faked things with the people that before that faked whole conversations with me that I never had conversations with them. There are a number of people, men and women, with the name Leahy involved with a whole bunch of people at the New Britain Superior Court involved personally and professionally with them with various natures of federal evidences crimes, abuses of each age of fact treatment nature, multi-front, roles, collusion/S, putting predicate acts, federal evidences crimes, predicate acts into databases, illusions. They've been putting forth fake phone transcripts of roles with Weathersfield Police, faking conversations at the police station too, fake ties to kids at the police station into records. Years later, they had to cover that up by reporting it with the news. That attached me to fake conversations with themselves at the same time to prevent the right outcome and writing. Mass faked evidences at New Britain Superior Court, Hartford courts. Connecticut's district court has roles with various natures of organized crimes. So Weathersfield Police have been switching and forging names with the courts too. They're refusing to identify themselves. The news is, at the same time won't get on paper. They already put faked and changed communications with me. Now they're needing to have another letter so they can play stupid games and have everyone say, "Oh, but that," because everyone's talking about what they don't know about. That's why they're supposed to get on paper one name in sequence. They have more people involved with weapons on my street and with poisons, and with the fire departments. The fire departments have roles with the police forms, intelligence, and in ways that are criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions wrought with their families too. They run into high live aggressions at medical campuses where they have forced mental evaluations. Those have increasingly been collusion/S with all natures of crime scenes since founding. It's important pounding drums. It's important to get them on paper, one name in sequence, and have them say sorry to the leaders of the government involved with them, like with the prosecutors and judges. And there's a whole bunch of names tied to the corners of streets, like corners of streets on Church Street in Old Weathersfield, and corner of Town Line Drive and 2 Route Highway, the same ones involved with a whole bunch of people at Central Connecticut State University and Trinity College. Recorded also with what do they call it? Community colleges, Quinnipiac University, UConn. At the same time, they've been putting predicate acts to make things look real, putting things intercities, etc. Whole fake transcripts. It is clearer than day how they've been using the identities of the law, remotely, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions wrought. You guys have no excuses for leaving out how we have black pupils, whites of eyes. And we had that reassigned, and how that is inseparable from the subject of what slavery is about. Rather than have slavery taught honestly, everyone's keeping what caused slavery and use/S of roles with it. I blamed on other things other than ourselves, because roles with that were criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions wrought, including the presidents, even if they didn't want to have collusions. It doesn't matter. In other words, they are incapable of having afforded discern with the judges, with the police forms. See, everyone goes up and says, "Oh, well, the police are good." The difference of that is they were involved with all kinds of natures of organized crime, increasingly on off the state corrections offices of Connecticut and the state judicial branch offices of Connecticut. Our families involved with a whole bunch of wire crime acts and methods, not just with the news, but with the news too, but with the Weathersfield Police too, and with their sources, all sides of the crime scenes, all sides of kids' houses, with people putting predicate acts at and between the campuses they go to. In other words, you guys are are pretty sick with your logic, with your bullying logic when you look at American history. And when you discuss it, when you make subject treatments, it comes up, your delusions too. In other words, not A through Z. Otherwise, in other words, the people speaking about it, please, someone get them on paper, one name and sequence, Connecticut into branch. Any branch, just get them on one page. Who disbelieves? I want them on paper. The courts recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. They have a Detective Samuda with New Britain, Connecticut, Central Connecticut State University through time, who's involved with a whole bunch of people directly and indirectly involved with former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, former standing chairperson on the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, who has collusion/S with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and terrorists. And these same names on my street involved intercities with them and on off campuses. They have roles with people from Mexico and Canada involved with them with overt criminal enterprises and private ones, and their educators and their roles with shopping malls and shopping centers. They're leaking. Now, they're leaking it because also, in other words, you guys are forcing me to talk about this stuff and bring up people's names and things like that. I don't even have, it makes it look like I have conversations with them. I don't even know all their names. A whole bunch of people tied to Justin Klovinskis too. A whole bunch of people with the shopping centers, like the Weathersfield Shopping Center and the one at Town Line Drive, are involved with the Michael Pandolf and the intelligence community, and like with people. I never saw DeMoros there, but DeMoros told me that there's a whole bunch of people tied to them, and they've been planting evidences at boxing gyms, and they don't even box. In other words, has something to do with their roles with the intelligence community there through time at town lines. They might be military. Some of them are inter-military families that are criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions wrought with this. Mark Violet and a whole bunch of people at Hartford Hospital and next to it have roles with all kinds of natures of identity, theft, fraud, slander, sequence shifts, making fake exceptions. Joshua Julian was also repeated by the Mark Violet, involved with him and his brother with the military and other people I don't know the names of. One of them, his speaker box was stolen from him by a Subby Bajerio. A Subby Bajerio, I only know, seeking me out to make confessions and demonstrations. They make faking conversations with me. See, I have one. In other words, I didn't even have a conversation. He asked me if I wanted. He could approach me, timing me where I was going to be, asked me if I wanted to buy a radioscope for $20. I did that, as knowing it would be fraud. He's a skinny little punk, a little fake about himself and others. As something to do with Weathersfield campuses with roles next to Central Connecticut State University with intelligence. A whole bunch of people tied to a Subby Bajerio, further involved with sexual and medical offenders of principal upskirt nature. Where's the Subby Bajerio live, please? Judge Napolitano, get the Weathersfield police on paper, one name and sequence with my neighbors, Cololo. They brought in the name Cololo. Also, a Bob Chase brought in the name Phil Cololo. Involved with them, with all kinds of natures of organized crime and more confessions tied to the child offenders, sexual, medical, and other natures of crimes. If they try to teach one of those subjects, they adapt and exploit them with the other ones as collusions with that subject. In other words, they're faking and changing transcripts at police stations through time with overt criminal enterprises and private ones. Let's get them on paper, one name and sequence. The ones with the name Kurgan and record, confess, demonstrate, confirmed, they involved with their intelligence families next to them. And some of them are teachers of schools. Also with mayors, former Mayor Gold, increasingly involved with sexual and medical offenders of kids, identity theft, fraud, slanders, fake ties to me, fake natures of ties to me with his family members that put fake things in databases to make it look like they knew me. Get them on paper, please. Judge Napolitano, Ray McGovern.